Hey guys, but welcome back to the What's Next podcast, sponsored by Live Well Therapeutic Massage, coming to you right here from beautiful Monterey Beach, California. You can see the beach from here. Today, I'm so excited. We've got Michelle.
Yep. Hi.
So, Miss Michelle, I just met you about a week ago.
Yeah, it was last week.
I love to have people on the podcast that do different types of professions.
Yeah.
Turns out you're a mortician.
I am.
Oh, well, I got to have you on.
Yeah.
It's just one of those professions that, I think you said it, it's kind of a hush hush. People don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I know people have a lot of questions about it too. So
but don't want to ask.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't want to know.
Yeah.
Right?
That could be part of it too.
Everybody wants to come see the massage therapist, but nobody wants to come see the mortician, do they?
Nobody really wants to come see me at all. No. And I don't take offense.
That's okay. Well, there's so many avenues I want to talk about with that, but tell me about yourself.
Yeah. So
where'd you come from? Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Winters, California.
Winters?
Yeah, little itty bitty town.
Don't know where that is.
Yeah, it's like 40 minutes outside of Sacramento.
Oh, okay. All right. That sounds hot.
It is. It's stupid hot. So Winters is not an appropriate name for it.
Yeah, right. There's no such thing as winters in Winters.
No, there's no.
It drops all the way down to 90.
Yeah, right. Pretty much. Crazy. Yeah, so well, I was born in Fairfield, and then my parents moved us to Winters when I was like 11. So spent formative years in Winters.
Sure, right.
Yeah, little tiny town, like maybe 6,000 people tops.
Really?
Yeah.
Right. So you went to the kind of school where there was a whole bunch of different grades.
Yeah, actually, I went to middle school in Winters, and then I went to my freshman year, Winters High School, and then after that, I moved to charter school in Vacaville.
Okay.
Yeah. So,
not too far from there.
No, not too far.
Right.
Yeah. So
a little bigger population.
Yeah, bigger population. It was kind of weird, though. So my school was in a strip mall.
What?
Yeah, so like we didn't have an official campus, so like half of the classes were on one side, and then there was like an oncology center, and then like a light bulbs and more store, and like a carpet store, and then
That's crazy.
Yeah, you had to walk across the parking lot to get to the other half of the classrooms.
Wow, right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, really, really small.
Kind of an afterthought.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. Where this old strip mall used to go.
Yeah, really small, no like really organized sports or anything because we didn't have a campus, so we didn't. I think they had basketball, but that's about it.
Just not enough people.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Nope.
So no football games on Friday night, and all that cheerleaders and all that stuff.
Nope, none of that.
It's too hot out there for football.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, so none of that. And then after high school, I moved up to Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I lived there for like 5 years, and that's where I went to Mortuary School.
What drew you up there?
Escaping the heat was part of it.
Yeah, that's part of it, huh?
Yeah, and
It's beautiful up there.
I've loved the rain forever, probably because I was deprived of
it. I know.
Yeah, so I met a lot of really cool, some of my best friends to this day still, and went to Mortuary School there, and that was a really cool experience. And then after I graduated, I scooted back down to California.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what drew you into that field? I mean, where were you?
So when I was in high school, they have like career day.
Uh-huh.
And the coroner came and gave a talk about being a county coroner, and I was like,
cool.
That's the coolest thing I've ever
Really?
heard
Okay.
of.
See, I knew there was a seed back there somewhere.
Yep. And then I found out with county coroners, they are a department that's part of the sheriff's office. And so I was like, nah, I don't really want to do that anymore. And some random kid in my class was like, thought about being a mortician?
Really?
Yeah.
You didn't want to be in the police department?
No, I wasn't interested in that.
Yeah.
But so I did a little bit of research. I called around to some local funeral homes, and one of them agreed to let me come and tour the cemetery and their funeral home, and I got to talk to funeral director and embalmer for like a couple hours. It was really cool. Yeah, and
it's kind of a field trip, just kind of learning. Yeah. I want to just see if this is something for me, huh?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It was super cool of them to let me, because like we talked about, it's kind of like hush hush and we don't let
Right.
outsiders in. And
Exactly.
yeah, so I thought that was super awesome. And from there on, I knew that's what I wanted to do.
That's super cool. Well, there's a lot of like internal things that you must have to work through though, as you're doing that, as you're getting started and dealing with that. It's kind of a taboo subject, death. And we seem to do everything in this life to stay healthy and stay away from dying, it's kind of the fearful thing, the Grim Reaper, there's all that scary stuff,
Yeah.
So it's got to be, of course, in your head like everybody else, but you just kind of have to push through it. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
what was the steps through that?
yeah, so when I enrolled in Mortuary School, I had never been around like other people that were as excited about it as
right.
me. Everyone else was like, wow, that's really weird.
Yeah,
Why
right.
would you want to do that?
Exactly.
And so your first step is to get into a program. And then I remember the first day of embalming lab, I was like, I've never seen this done before. I'd seen people in caskets before at like services, but
Sure,
I had
right.
never seen the behind the scenes. And I was like, if I can't do this, I just wasted years of my life like wanting this so bad. And it didn't freak me out.
Really?
Yeah. No, it just, I mean, it was strange and a new
Sure,
experience and
right,
something I'd never
right.
seen before, but it didn't freak me out. So I was like, okay, I think I could do this.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then my first job that I got in the field, I was they're called removal technicians.
Okay.
So I would go to where the place of death.
I see.
Yeah, and
okay.
bring the person.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah, so bring them into the care of either we had a contract with the medical examiner
Okay.
or funeral home.
Right, right.
Yeah. So that was my foot in the door. And then after I graduated, I came back to California and I got my first job as a funeral arranger.
Okay.
And then I took the license test and now I'm a funeral director.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me about the removal. That must be like a little shocking coming into it if that's your kind of your first step into it.
Yeah.
There's smells in there. There's, I don't know much about dead bodies, but I imagine they probably get stiff.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody fell down and died on the floor in some weird position, they're kind of stuck in that position. So
for a
not
little
to be
while.
gory,
Yeah.
but that's kind of I want to talk to you about, these kind of things. What, you must have to bend them or break them or move them. How does that go down?
Yeah, so there's so many hours after a person has died that rigor mortis sets in.
Okay.
And then after that, they kind of loosen up again.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, so you don't stay stiff, but usually, like, if someone has died in a weird position, by the time I would get there, they'd still be stuck in that position.
Right, right.
Yeah, so you gotta kind of not break people, but try to bend them back into a position that you can deal with.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Just tendons and everything else grabbing a hold of what I deal with all day, muscles and tendons. And once that stiffens up, must be a real fight.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean, that was really interesting. And, too, with having the medical examiner contract, like, going on suspicious deaths or...
right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that was definitely a push. Like, if you can't stomach this, you're not going to...
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not going to work out for you.
Yeah, aside from the gore that you might have to, overcome, but it's also you get a lesson in what humanity can do to each other.
Yeah.
And it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
Every day must have been in the first few years of like a little bit shocking.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know humans could be so cruel, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's somebody has to take care of that.
Yeah.
And thank God there's people out there like you that do that kind of thing, that can stomach that kind of thing. But that is something that has to be, looked at maybe as a PTSD type thing. Would you think? Or
I've seen a lot of things that most people will never see.
Right. Does it just harden you? You just get used to it? Maybe.
I don't think it hardens, or most people
Right.
in my profession. If it hardens you, then you probably need to stop doing it.
Right.
Because you're here as not just helping the deceased, but you're an emotional support for their family too.
Sure. Right.
And I've had plenty of times where, like, I've cried at funerals,
Sure,
like standing
I
in the
bet.
back, trying
Right,
not to be
right.
seen, but like, and then especially when you go after someone has just died and you're walking into this person's house, or, you know,
Loved
their
ones
family.
are standing around.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's heavy
Sure,
emotions.
sure, right.
And you kind of have to put it in boxes.
I see, right.
Compartmentalize. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not here to make their grief worse by feeling what
Yeah,
my grief. Like, you
exactly,
hold on to
right.
it until you leave.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Try to make some kind of normal situation out of it.
Yeah.
Right. Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Mm-hmm. Oh, cool. So that, so from there you went, I'm sorry, from there you went to, what was your next step?
So from being a removal tech.
Removal tech,
yeah,
right.
I went from doing that to, I got my first funeral arranger job.
Okay.
So in California, you don't have to be a licensed director to meet with families and plan services,
Okay.
but you do have to do a law review every
I see.
year.
Okay.
But once you take your funeral director's license test, then you're a director, and you don't have to do that law review every year.
I see. Right.
Yeah.
So arranger's not necessarily with the body. It's more of arranging the whole funeral.
Yeah.
I see. Okay. Right. Getting everything in order and in line. And,
Yeah. And all the paperwork that
Oof.
needs to be done.
Oh,
and
have mercy. I bet that's a stack.
it's a lot.
Right.
Yeah. So,
Crazy.
yeah, taking care of all of that, everything from planning the services, connecting the family with, like, clergy, the cemetery, flowers, all of the details. So you got to
Right.
make sure you take really good notes, or you're going to make some people really mad.
Sure. Right. Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tough time in their life. Make sure everything's, you want to make sure you do everything for them.
Yeah.
Basically, because they're not going to be in the right mind.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a great service.
Yeah, and a lot of times families are so, I mean, this is the worst time of their life that
sure.
this is happening to
Right.
them. And
Whether it be a mother or a son,
Yeah.
or whether, it's just destroying them
yeah, it's
at this moment.
it's awful. And so it kind of can sometimes make it so you're not thinking so clearly.
Right.
And you don't know what questions you need to ask.
Sure, right.
And so my job is to facilitate those questions and, like, tell them what they need to know
Yeah.
before, they even have the question in their mind, really.
Sure, right.
Yeah, and lots of following up with, like, emails, and because
Yeah.
you're not going to remember everything I said.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. There's so much.
Yeah, there's a lot of information, and usually arrangements are like an hour to 2 hours. So it's a lot of ground to cover in a short amount of time.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I've been a licensed director since 2016.
Okay.
And I also have my embalmer's license.
So you're kind of
Yeah.
wearing a whole bunch of hats right
Yeah,
now, huh?
a lot of them. Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Because you came in, your back is pretty stiff.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty tight,
Yeah.
So it's like, you must be moving people around on top of getting all your funerals arranged and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. I have learned a lot of tricks to moving folks, because 99% of the time they're bigger than I am.
Exactly. And literally
Yeah.
dead weight. We
Yeah.
were talking about that.
Yeah.
There's nobody helping you.
No, not at all.
Do they have lifts and that kind of thing?
Yes, thank
I know in the
goodness.
hospital but at least they can kind of help you get into the lift where your person's not helping.
Yeah, not at all.
No.
No, but we have lifts. I have things that help for sure.
Sure,
Yeah,
right.
but
Yeah.
there is a lot of it that's just me trying to move folks.
Just spinning and sliding and turning and
Yep.
right. So yeah. Wow, they come in, we were talking a little bit about after they what's the word I'm looking for? An autopsy. Mm-hmm. You come in and they're pretty much taken apart.
Yeah.
You have to kind of put them all back together and everything.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that process. Is everything's removed, or they put it all back in and then?
So they put it all back in, and then we treat it separately and embalm the person. It's a much different process.
Sure.
Than just a normal one. But it's so rewarding to be able to present that person back to their family and have them not even know
How about that?
the process of the autopsy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I know if it was my loved one, I mean, I can't unknow it, but if I didn't know, I wouldn't want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. Right.
Yeah.
Because some people have to be completely rebuilt, basically.
Yeah.
Face structure, whether it be a car accident or, guns or whatever. You got to really kind of put them back together and look at pictures of them, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Do you ever ask yourself, why would these people want an open casket on this particular?
I know it's a closure thing. It's hard to accept that your loved one is no longer with you if you don't get a chance to say goodbye.
I guess.
And I think it's important, but there are definitely times where as a professional you have to be like, I really don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I have so many good memories of that person. I don't want that to be the last one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I've gone back and forth on that. I totally get what you're saying, though.
Yeah.
You almost have to kind of make your peace with them or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
And plus, like, a lot of people live so spread out nowadays, right? So, like, if you hadn't seen your family member in years,
right.
and it's like your last chance to see them to say goodbye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You kind of see them there.
Yeah.
Right. So what do you do for fun when you're not working?
I was telling you the other day, I got into foraging.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So I really like to go on hikes and just kind of see what plants I can identify.
Okay.
And I have like field guides and stuff, and I have made some like really cool recipes with weeds. Like,
no kidding.
Yeah, you like something growing out of a crack in the sidewalk.
Sure.
It could be something really delicious and you just don't know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, so that is fun.
Or give it a spicy taste.
Yeah, exactly.
Or give it, particular mushrooms. You have to know which ones and which not to.
Mushrooms
berries.
are definitely sketchy.
Yeah.
You have to be really careful.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet.
Yeah, right. You got to know what you're doing there.
Yeah. So that's something that I've picked up and I really enjoy doing. And then it's more of a hobby. I really like singing.
Do you?
Yeah.
Right.
So sometimes you'll catch me like walking throughout the funeral home kind of singing to myself or
right.
Yeah.
Sure.
So
you're comfortable behind the mic, huh?
Yeah, doesn't bother me.
Right.
Yep.
Yep. I want to talk more about foraging. That's I've seen it on the internet, and I guess I watched this show called Alone, where they take them off and they drop them somewhere in Alaska or something, and you have to live for, I think it's like 120 days or more.
God.
Yeah. And it's like, holy cow, if you don't know how to forage, if you don't know what's growing out of the earth and what can give you enough protein, you're done.
Yeah.
Of course, you have to have the fish. You have to, some of them are hunting down deer and that kind of thing. But it's comes to probably 80% of what's coming out of the ground.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, there's only so much you can catch, especially if you're not, like, super skilled, right?
Right. Exactly.
But, yeah, just having... And plus, I think foraging is cool, too, because it connects you more with nature.
Sure.
And what's around you. And it's more sustainable because you're not having things, like, flown in for you to eat. This is your native plants around you that you know.
Exactly. But it'll also kill you in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah.
Which is the one thing that stops people from foraging.
Yeah.
Because you really kind of have to be a little studied, Yeah. Some will just shut your intestines down. Or, whoops, it looked a lot like this other plant, So
yeah.
You can get hurt out there really, quickly.
Yeah, definitely. You want to make sure you're 100% sure what you're picking before you start putting it in your mouth.
Exactly, right. You have to be studied because you can hurt yourself out there. Right.
Yeah. Or kill yourself.
Truly.
Yeah.
Literally.
So you gotta be careful with that.
Right.
And I am by no means an expert on it at all. So I have my field guides with me. I have a special app on my phone. I'm very careful.
Then take it home and double check it again before you cook it and eat it, right? Well,
Absolutely.
that's killer. That's something everybody should know.
Yeah, it's been fun. There's this chick on TikTok that I started following, and that's how I got into it. Her name is Alexis Nicole.
Okay.
And her handle is the Black Forager.
Wow.
And she is hilarious and super knowledgeable. And she not only shows you how to identify the plants, but then she goes home and makes like something really tasty out of it.
That's cool.
And so she shows you the recipe process too. And I think she's super awesome. And that's how I got into it, because I just happened upon one of her videos.
Right.
Yeah.
And she makes you chuckle, so
yeah,
you know,
she's super funny.
That's what keeps coming back, for sure.
Yeah.
How cool is that? I was telling you about this program I watched one time where they were helping out businesses or different restaurants that were failing all over the world. And that was one of the people that would come in, a professional forager, that could show them in their particular part of the world what they could use to make more of a home type feeling dishes that were actually from that area and spiced from that area.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was a neat. I think I was super intelligent. Like no matter where he went in the world, he knew where he could pick this, that, and it's like, wow,
That's cool.
this guy's a pro. But,
Yeah.
yeah, it does make you feel like you're in that region. You know, if you're in Spain or something, you should know how to, whatever grows from the ground and make dishes like that. That's super cool.
Yeah, I think it's neat. I think
Yeah.
it's really cool. And just the different things that you wouldn't think of, like things that people would spray pesticide on is actually something that's good for you.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Invasive species.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So I think that's a fun part of it too. And the whole process of having to find it kind of makes it more rewarding.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially when you're eating a soup that made out of grass or something.
Yeah.
You know the Vietnamese do that too. They grow a lot of different grasses around their house, and they know just which part to pick out, and they'll just make this amazing, delicious chicken soup with it. It's like, you just picked that out of the backyard. What's up? You got to know what you're doing.
Yes. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So you're a singer too, huh?
Yeah.
Got any albums out?
No. No, not quite professional.
Not quite yet. Right.
No. I've been singing for as long as I can remember, and no one's told me to shut up yet.
Right.
So I have heard that it's pretty good, but I mean, it's weird to hear it not in my head though. Like I've heard recordings of myself and I'm like, ooh, God, no. But because it doesn't sound the same.
Right. Than what you're hearing through your head, but everybody else is saying it's okay. So it's like,
okay, I guess it's fine.
Right. Exactly. Best thing to do is just put it on the internet.
And see what happens.
Right.
Yeah.
Overnight sensation.
Oh, if only.
California's Got Talent.
God. Oh man, all those kinds of shows make me cringe so hard. No. I got a lot of stories, but I don't know how fun you would say that they are.
Exactly.
And I really can't get into too much detail about it.
Right.
Just respecting people's privacy.
Right.
I just I really love what I do. And I am honored to be able to do it.
Right.
And it always makes you get the warm and fuzzies, of course, when families want to give you a hug or tell you thank you for everything. It's like, okay, I made this a little bit easier on you, and that was the goal.
Right.
Yeah.
That's another huge aspect of it, too, though. You're really putting people at ease and taking care of a whole lot of stuff for them, aside from the scary part of death and all that, there is that warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yeah.
Knowing, that's a good point.
Yeah.
That's good to talk about.
Yeah.
Because, that's, I've been through death quite a few times.
Same.
And it's craziness.
Yeah.
Because you're trying to wrap your head around everything and just to have somebody there that even just feels like they've been through this 100 times.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh. Yeah. It's Michelle. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And know that you're going to be able to do your best to take care of it.
Yeah.
That's killer. That's a good aspect.
Yeah. That's why we do it. I mean, I know there's like this stereotype that funeral directors are all
sure
greedy and
right.
like weird, or I've never met a funeral director like that.
I know, right? Just on TV.
Yeah, it's just like the creepy old dude in a suit that's like in the corner.
That's what you're supposed to think of.
Yeah, and I've had so many families when I've met with them, they're like, "You are not at all what I expected."
Right,
like, that's good.
And the people that have been watching Dexter, like, did you used to kill animals as a child?
Yeah,
like,
right.
No, it's not like that.
We're not like that.
Right.
Yeah, I know every funeral director that I've ever worked with is, they care so much about the helping people aspect.
I would have to be.
Yeah, that, I mean, you always want to do your best job no matter what you do, but with funerals, you only get one chance.
Right.
So if you mess that up, then you just ruin the whole experience for this family, and that's what they're going to take away, and they're never going to forget that.
Right, for sure. Right.
Yeah. So
I was talking to a nurse about that one time. We're civil servants. We're just trying to do the best we can, in hard situations, of course, I see people on the massage table that sometimes get to the point where they can't move. They're so stuck. They're so bent. But nothing compared to what a nurse sees or a mortician sees or anything like that.
Yeah.
So we do super appreciate, that deep end for sure that you guys wallow in.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. We're just all civil servants.
Yeah.
Trying to do our best.
Yeah. I think nurses have it harder than I do.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right. Yeah. Kind of. You never know. The same thing. You're dealing with families in a tough time.
Yeah, that's true.
You're trying not to get COVID. There's just so much, craziness either way.
Definitely this whole pandemic thing has made my life a lot more insane.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's have a funeral, but nobody can come.
I know.
Like what? Wait, hold on.
I know when...
so you're literally having... did you even do a funeral? It's just kind of...
Well, when everything first shut down, we weren't allowed to. We couldn't.
For sure.
Yeah.
Right. No gatherings at all.
Nothing. And then I was working in the Bay Area at the time. And then it turned into like, okay, you can have something, but only 10 people can come. And it was so hard because like, there's so many more people than 10 people that want to come. Some people's immediate families are at least 10 people, if not more. Yeah, and we weren't. It just was really difficult to have to tell them, I'm sorry, only 10.
Right. Grandma can come, but sorry.
Yeah, that's it.
Uncle Frank can't make it.
Yeah.
He's not going to be able to. Oh, no, that's tough.
Yeah, and then with the fluctuations of like, okay, you can have more. No, you can't. Yeah, you can have more. No, you can't. So you could have a family one week that was able to have 50 people, and then the next week, 10 people again.
They switch it right back.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, God.
It's not me.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
It's not me, I know.
Yeah.
But you're just delivering the bad news.
Yeah. It's already a crappy situation, and then I'm having to tell you can't do what you want to do. Please don't punch me.
Yeah, right. You hear so much about, the retirement homes.
Yeah.
People couldn't see their grandmas or their parents as they were dying.
Yeah.
It's so sad. And then can't even have a funeral.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't gather to, even you gather at the house to even give your respects as a celebration of life. Nope, can't do that either.
Yep.
Like, wow, they just died.
Yeah,
that
was awful.
That was terrible.
It was awful having to tell people that.
Yeah.
And like, it's just not. I mean, I love what I do, and I have days where it is really fun, and we have
sure.
But it was absolutely not fun to have to tell these families, I'm sorry, you can't.
Yeah, I think that's what the hospital was dealing with too.
Yeah.
Just saying, nope, sorry, So yeah, crazy times.
Yeah.
We're kind of through it.
Well, let's hope.
It's back and forth, I know.
Yeah,
Everybody's a little sketchy now.
Yeah.
Everything good?
Yeah.
Sure?
We cool?
Maybe.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm hoping that the light at the end of the tunnel will come a little closer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So did you come to Monterey and buy a house, or?
Not yet.
No.
That's the hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, is to get a house down here. My husband and I own our house in the Bay Area, so we gotta sell that one first.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
Are you renting that out, or just got it for sale? Or?
I think we are gonna be listing it soon. So my husband works remotely, so he is mostly up there.
Oh, I see.
And then he comes down. So
you're still using it?
Yeah, we're still using it.
Just got an apartment down here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh, that's a big drain on the wallet. Just to have an apartment over here for
Yeah.
in Monterey.
Yeah.
Phew.
Well, luckily, my in-laws live kind of close by, so I've been staying with them, but we move in to our apartment next month. So
I see. Oh, okay.
It's going to be
you're not making that payment quite
not yet.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've had some time to save up to that, but it's just kind of a bummer to go. I've been having a lot of emotions about this.
Because you love your old
I
house,
love my house.
Yeah, right.
So it's kind of a bummer to have to be like, okay, bye.
Yeah, right.
And then go from living in my house to an apartment.
Exactly. Right.
But I'll get over it eventually.
Yeah. When you get the new house, it'll all probably just work out perfectly.
I hope so.
Get that one. This one falls into place. Zip zop.
I hope so.
Yeah. Does your husband, it doesn't necessarily have to be up there?
No, he doesn't.
No. Okay.
Yeah, he can pretty much work from anywhere.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So that part's pretty cool. So he spends like half of the week there and then the other half down here with me. So
that's cool. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Get that thing listed.
Yeah.
Houses in California are worth so much.
It's insane.
It'd be nice to get that off the books if you don't need it.
Yeah.
I know you hate to lose your house, but it's like if you're not there and you're not utilizing it.
Then what's the point? And I absolutely do not want to be a landlord. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I've got an apartment now and I like it. It's pretty cheap, but when I moved out of my house, I had a deck.
Yeah.
With the French doors. I go out and have my coffee on my deck in the backyard, and you just don't have that in an apartment.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I miss it so much.
Yeah.
But to go out and look for a house in California, it's like,
it's insane.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
I sold a 5-bedroom house for, $300,000 in Michigan.
Geez.
It's like, you couldn't find a piece of property for that.
No.
To roll
Not at all.
tiny home on or something. So I'd be stuck with an old 72 single wide or something.
Yeah, dude. That's not within the realm of possibility
No,
here.
it's crazy. So it's hard to wrap my head around buying anything.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just rent and not deal with being a homeowner right now. But boy, I sure do miss all the little.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be rough because my backyard, like you were saying, I have the deck.
Sure, right.
And it looks up on this hill that's all green and trees.
Beautiful scenery.
And we have a dog. He's small, but we've got a dog. So taking him from a house into an apartment is going to suck for him,
That's
too.
a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Just let him out in the backyard and run for a minute. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Can't do that now.
Nope.
Right.
No more.
Well, hopefully that'll move you into the next house.
Yeah.
Right.
That's the plan.
So, how do you like Monterey?
I like it.
Compared to, where were you, Oakland or something?
Yeah.
Oakland, I think you said.
It's a lot quieter.
It's quieter here, right?
It's a lot quieter here.
It's about the same temperature, right?
It's a little hotter in Oakland.
Is it?
Yeah, it's hotter. So the chiller temperatures have been very nice.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. And I was mentioning to you the other day when I lived here, because I lived here before. And when I lived here before, I was in my early 20s, and I was like, this place, I got to get out of here. Like,
it's so boring.
Yeah, there's nothing to do because I don't
in
surf
your 20s,
or,
sure.
The closest music venue is like the Catalyst in Santa Cruz. Like, I was like, I got to go. And then I really enjoyed living in cities a lot. And so coming back here, I was a little nervous that I was going to feel the same way. Like, oh, God, what am I doing? Why did I agree to this?
Yeah.
But then I know I mentioned to you, too, when I was driving in and I got on that part of the one where you kind of come up and you can see the bay.
The whole Monterey.
The whole thing. I was like, okay, I can do this now.
Exactly.
I'm in my 30s now. I'm a
Right.
little more grown up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and there's a lot of really cool like trails around here, and planning to get a bike so I can bike up and down all the paths, and I'm hopeful this time around, whereas before I've just kind of landed here because that's where I found a job.
Right.
Yeah.
There's farm markets everywhere. There's all kinds of fun stuff to do. Nature and,
Yeah.
you know, now you have to kind of do it. You
Yeah.
know. It's like, you know, maybe you take up surfing.
I don't know about all that.
Too many sharks.
Yeah. And poor balance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No balance.
Yeah, that would not be a good hobby for me, I don't think.
Well, find something to do. Do some running. Do you do any exercise or you?
I mean, aside from lifting people,
Yeah, right.
not really.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
There's just so much going on here. You got the walking trails
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah. I'm looking forward to adventuring outside too.
right.
Yeah.
There's so many hiking trails and down to Big Sur.
Yeah, Big Sur is so pretty.
Yeah.
I haven't been back since I've been back down here, but that's definitely the plan, is to get down there as often as possible because
Oh,
it's just
beautiful.
gorgeous.
Yeah,
And there's so many really cool hiking trails down there.
exactly. It's just so different. I took my daughter up to the top there when she came in for a minute, and we went camping up on the top of, you know, Big Sur, and
Cool.
it's just so different from where we're from.
Yeah.
You know, there's just coyotes running everywhere, and there's, you know, tarantulas, and it's like, from a Michigan kid, it's like, wow, this is crazy.
Yeah, man, that's like total culture shock, right?
Totally, for sure, right.
Like I personally have never been to Michigan, so
Right,
I
that'd be a culture shock the other way.
yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the only thing, my mom was a military brat, Air Force, and so she briefly lived in Michigan when she was like a little girl. But that's the only thing I've heard. Like,
Yeah,
I
right.
don't-
She experienced the winter, was like, yeah, don't go there.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny. You're talking about the one there. I remember when I first came to California, I didn't really know where I was going. You know, I just thought, well, I hit about Ventura, started driving north. It's like, if I find a little town that I like, then, you know, I'll go ahead and pull in there. And ended up pulling into Marina one day and just having breakfast, and ended up talking to some people there that just happened to have an apartment for rent. You know, and it was like, okay, cool. This is a perfect little spot.
Nice.
And then a few days later, I came back south, heading back down to Monterey, and I came over that hill that you're talking about, overlooking that. Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is where I moved. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it, but that scene right there just resets your whole mind, doesn't it?
It really
Like,
does.
Oh, my God. This is where I live.
Yeah.
This is incredible. To see the ocean coming in, sailboats, fishing boats coming in and out, and you know, all the things you hear about, the Monterey Bay, the Monterey Aquarium, the Monterey, you know, everything else.
Yeah,
This is
it's definitely
incredible.
a breathtaking scene, because especially when you're driving in from where I am, from the 101,
Yeah,
the 156 and all the one-way traffic, and that's enough to get you all irritated. But then as soon
Exactly.
as you hit that spot, it's like, okay, why was I so mad?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, every day.
Yeah.
Because I remember that I was working in Monterey and living up in Marina, so I had to drive into Monterey every morning, and I just had to come over that scene, and it just starts your whole day
Yeah,
perfectly.
it does.
It's like, oh my God, I'm here. Wow.
Yeah.
Reset.
Yeah, right?
Ready to go again.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, I dig the heck out of this place. And no snow.
Right? Yeah. When I was living in Portland, it snowed every year that I lived there.
Did it?
Even though
Yeah.
they told me it never snows here. It snowed every year I lived there. But it wasn't like snow. It was
Right.
like,
Tromping
here's
through
a
3
taste.
feet of snow.
Yeah, here's
It's
a little
just
bit of snow.
dusting.
And I remember I was in college, and I was in my medical terminology class, and they sent out this like, inclement weather, the campus is closing, everyone go home. And my medical terminology professor was from Wisconsin.
So-
And she was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Right.
Really? Inclement weather? There's like 2 inches on the ground.
People will get hurt though.
Yeah.
Because they have no idea what they're doing.
Yeah. I was one of those people that had no
Sure,
idea.
right.
Yeah, absolutely no idea.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. The place that I worked at where I was a removal tech was at the bottom of a hill.
Hello.
And I obviously had never experienced driving in the snow before, and so I was trying to get up the hill, and I just kept sliding backwards and sliding backwards, and my boss, I think he's from Michigan too,
Right.
he ran up and was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I can't get up the hill. So we had to like blast me up on his own, and he was like, just be careful, please. I'm like,
Right.
I'll try.
Right. Little rear wheel drive car.
Right.
And
Oh, man.
slipping and sliding. Just take it easy. Take
Yeah.
it slow.
Yeah, I know. Cars were sliding all over the place. And
Yeah.
it's like, I don't like this one bit.
Yeah, exactly.
At first it was like, oh, the snow, it's magical. But then, like,
It's beautiful.
actually having to travel, not
Yeah.
knowing how to drive in it was sketchy.
Beautiful when you're standing inside looking out your sliding glass door.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. It's different when you're all trying to drive, make
Yeah.
a living in it.
Yeah, trying to navigate, especially being from California.
Right. Perfect.
Yep.
It's so pretty, though. What's your husband do for a living?
He's an attorney.
Oh, he's an attorney. That's
Yeah.
right. We talked a little bit about that.
Yeah, he's a lawyer. His firm is based out of LA, but
Okay.
they have an office in Oakland too.
Oh,
so-
I see. That's
Yeah.
the connection there, huh?
Yeah, so he started out actually doing trust and estates, and we used to joke that they were first his clients and then they became mine.
Right.
Yeah, so he did that for a while, and then has kind of bounced around a lot. He does something completely different now, but
Same kind of like an attorney thing.
yeah, yep, still an
helping people
attorney,
out.
but
Nice.
yeah, yep.
Yeah. That's the smart people. I don't, those are people that are really good on paperwork
Oh, yeah.
and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, that is primarily what he does is writes motions. He knows all the lingo. I kind of do.
Can't even imagine what you
Yeah.
have to remember.
Yeah,
to know
seriously. And the fact that laws change constantly too,
Oh,
right?
geez.
So you gotta be apprised with
Right.
all of it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah, so he does that. We have a miniature dachshund,
Perfect.
and he's gonna be 3 this year.
Wow.
And then we have an orange tabby who knows how old.
A cat.
Yeah, a cat.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
right.
when I adopted him from the SPCA, they told me he was like 2.
Mm.
And then several years later, I took him to the vet, and I told him I think he's like 6, and they were like, "No, he's much older than that."
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Judging by his teeth or
Yeah,
something.
by his teeth.
or-
That's
yeah,
exactly what it was.
right,
So who knows how old he is, but he's super cuddly.
Right.
Yeah.
The old term, a little bit long in the tooth.
Yeah.
I think that's a horse thing, but
Yeah. Well, he's a little bit short in the tooth in that he has lost plenty of them. Yeah.
I was in the pet store. Was it yesterday or the day before, and had to get some stuff for the fish tank, and they had this big cage full of kitty cats.
Oh.
Had one little orange one, a couple of grays, and a black and white. I want a cat so bad, just not in a position where I
Yeah.
want to do that, but I had to stop and check them out and hang out with them for a minute. They're
You
in
always
this little
have to.
4x4 cage.
Yeah. Every time we go into like a pet store or anything like that with my husband and I, he always tries to steer me away from where they have the cats, because if I get sucked in, I'm gonna want to take one with me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Quick hangout.
Yeah, no.
Where's the fish section?
Yeah.
Move on.
Time to go. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I'm a sucker for cat.
And that's when I got my cat. I wasn't even planning on getting a cat.
Really?
Yeah, I went to the SPCA to volunteer because I
Oh, that's a mistake.
wasn't supposed to have animals in my apartment. So I get there. I was gonna volunteer, and then one of the other volunteers was like, "Hey, are you looking for a cat?" And I was like, "Not really, but if something jumps out at me, maybe."
Yeah, right.
Well, this cat quite literally jumped onto me And I was
There's
like,
your
well,
sign.
come on, man. Like, I can't not take you now.
I know, exactly.
And
We're all emotionally attached to each other now.
I know. And he had just had surgery on his tail, so he had like a little nubbin tail. And I was like, this is my cat now.
Yeah. It's got damage.
Yep.
I'm going to have to take
I had
this
to take
one.
him. Yep. Yeah.
Is that the gray one, or is that the...
He's orange.
Oh, that was the orange one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's very chatty and very lovey. Yeah.
So you've got 2 cats?
I have one cat and one
dog.
Yep.
About the same size?
Yeah, about the same size. Yeah.
Did they play?
They do. They play with each other a lot. It's
That's
really
great.
fun. The cat is actually bigger than the dog.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
And much fatter than the dog.
Yeah, but much more powerful too.
Yeah. But he has never once come at my dog with claws out.
Really?
No, never once.
Not when you're looking anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm sure he's got thwapped a couple times.
Yeah, he swipes at him pretty good, but I've never seen the claws come out.
Yeah.
So, or seen any like blood or
Yeah, exactly.
anything like that on the dog. So
Yeah.
I think they just like to wrestle a lot until my cat gets tired of it and then finds higher ground where the dog can't get him.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I've always gone back and forth. Do I want to take the claws out of the front or not?
Oh, no, you don't do that.
They destroy everything.
Yeah, but if you're removing the cat's claws, it's like you're taking off their first joint of their finger.
Yeah.
And then it can mess up their balance, and then it hurts them for like the rest of their life.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Because that was always the thing, declaw them.
Yeah.
I
have strong feelings against that.
I know. I have strong feelings both ways too. It's
Yeah.
like that's, I've known people that have taken their back claws off too. It's like, well, then they can't defend themselves.
Yeah.
But I also don't want everything in my house destroyed.
Yeah.
Curtains, expensive couches,
Yeah.
they just destroy everything.
Yeah, they sure do.
So I guess that's always a drawback because I don't want them to not have their front claws.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my cat is kind of a dick and likes to claw at things.
Yeah.
And like you can get him the fanciest scratching post known to
Sure,
man,
exactly.
and he just snubs it. I don't care. I'm going for the couch.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
You little prick.
I know, but I'm like, I can't do that to him.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're literally probably strengthening the muscles in those little joints, and they're sharpening their claws like they've been doing for a million years.
Yeah.
It's like they're not really trying to get back at you in your couch.
Yeah, that's true.
But still, I just paid $4,000 for that.
Yeah, I know,
couch.
right? Like, please
Have
don't.
some respect.
Yeah.
You're wrapping with some.
They make these. They make they're like caps that you can put on their claws.
Oh, really? On their claws?
Yeah,
Okay.
and it looks like they have like a super fancy manicure afterwards.
Oh, right.
But my cat hated them so much, he literally chewed them all off.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
For
So I was
sure.
like, okay, well, that was a waste of money.
That was a waste, right?
Yeah.
It's probably all in their intestines now.
Right?
Perfect.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's not going to cause any long-lasting damage or anything.
No, that'll be fine. Perfect. I know I've heard people try to trim them down, but they can.
I do that.
Do you?
Mm-hmm. You just have to be careful how far down you trim them.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Quick or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just for dogs.
No, it's for cats
That's a
too.
lot of
But
work.
at least with cats, you can see where it is in their nails. But most dogs, I think pretty much all dogs have black nails, right? So you can't really see. So that's a little sketchier.
Right. I think I
Yeah.
had a dog with like one paw had white and the other claw was black. So it was like you're right. You can see where it is, but on the black one, it's
Yeah,
like,
you can't see. It's like
kind of guessing here. I'm not playing the guessing game.
Yeah. I'm not qualified to do this.
Exactly. I am out of my pay
Yeah.
grade here.
No qualifications for this.
But with the cats, they can actually bleed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can actually hurt them
Yeah.
long term.
Yeah, so you got to be careful doing that.
Right.
But my cat actually just sits there and lets me do it.
Really?
He doesn't try to fight me.
So
He
much
just
trust.
is like, fine.
Really?
Yeah.
I fought enough times where
Yeah.
I've already lost. All right.
It's a losing battle.
Right. Well,
this
sure
was a lot of fun.
appreciate you coming in.
Yeah,
I
thanks
learned
for
a whole
inviting
lot of stuff.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, you're welcome.